So in this video, you're going to learn about coordinate plane. You're going to learn the parts that make a coordinate plane. You're going to learn about how to graph in a coordinate plane, how to read points in a coordinate plane, and how to write ordered pairs using mathematical notation. So to start with, a coordinate plane is basically made up of two number lines. There is the x-axis, which is a horizontal number line. That means it runs left to right, east to west. Then there's the y-axis, which is a vertical number line, and that runs north and south, up and down. Where these two axes meet is called the origin, and the location of the origin is at 0, 0. It's at where the middle of the x-axis 0, and it's also in the middle of the y-axis 0. When we call it 0, 0, 0, 0 is an ordered pair, one of several on a coordinate plane. An ordered pair is a location of points, and the key word there is ordered. So it tells you where a point is located, and it describes first the horizontal movement you make to get to that location, and then second, it describes the vertical movement to get to that location. So if you're at the origin, you have not gone anywhere. You haven't gone left to right or up and down. You're just sitting on 0 on the horizontal axis and 0 on the vertical axis. So this is the origin right here, this red point. Another key term is quadrants. Our coordinate plane is made up of, as you can see when we draw the two axes, 4 sections. And these 4 sections are called quadrants. And the quadrants are named by Roman numerals. So when you look at these sections, this section right here is called the first quadrant. This section right here has been named the second quadrant. We use Roman numerals to name them. Notice I'm not writing 1 or 2 in these sections. I'm writing a Roman numeral to represent them. This section is the third quadrant. And finally, this section is the fourth quadrant. Common mistake made by students is you kind of are trained to read left to right. So a lot of students feel this should be the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, or first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. That's not the case. We start here in the first quadrant, and we know we're in the first quadrant when we analyze our values for our x. So remember, in the ordered pair, the x always comes first. So you're in the first quadrant when your x values are all positive. They're all to the right of 0. So every point that we plot in this quadrant will have a positive x value. And the y value is also going to be positive in this section, because if you look at the number line over here, all your up and down values are above 0 in this section, so those will also be positive. If you go to the second quadrant, your x values are now to the left of 0. These are all the negative numbers, so you'll have no positive x values if you're in this section. They will all be negative. I'm going to put a negative there. And then if your y values in this section of your coordinate plane are all above 0, so they would be positive. So all the points or locations in this quadrant, our x value will have to be negative and our y value will have to be positive. If we're in this third section, quadrant 3, our x values are to the left of 0 and our y values are below 0. So all the points we might plot in this section are going to be negative x values and negative y values. And finally, the fourth quadrant. We have right here, all our x values are to the right of 0, the ones running left to right, and all our y values are below 0, the ones running up and down. So that'll be a positive x value in that section, followed by a negative y value. So when you're looking at ordered pairs and you're graphing or trying to locate them, you can look at the signs on your numbers that you're plotting and know exactly what section to go to plot it based on just the signs alone. So that should have given you a little background about a coordinate plane. Horizontal and vertical axes that meet in the middle at the origin on 0, 0. And then we can use these number lines to create ordered pairs that we graph in one of these 4 sections on our graph. And if we know the signs of our numbers that we're graphing, we'll know exactly what section it belongs in. All right, now we're going to learn how to graph these points and read these points. So we're going to start with letter I. Letter I, just to review real quick, this is quadrant 1 because they're both positive. Quadrant 2 is when your x is negative, your y is positive. Quadrant 3, both the x and y are negative. And quadrant 4, the x is positive and the y is negative. Just a quick review. And we'll just label this x-axis to remind us. And this is the y-axis to remind us. And I'm just going to come over here to, we'll come over to this section. And I'm just going to remind me x is first, y is second. And I want you to just make a note that all of these points that you see have special mathematical notation. They're all in parentheses with a comma in between. The comma separates the x value from the y value. You must keep, and when you're asked to write ordered pairs, they must be in this format to earn credit. So you need to make sure you're paying attention to that notation and following and using it yourself. So let's begin by graphing point A, right here. The location of point A on our coordinate plane is going to be in the first quadrant because both the x and the y are positive. So I'm going to go right to, positive direction, and then followed by up 3. I'm going to go right to, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3. And the only mark I'm going to make is a dot. Let me fix that. So I have an orange dot and I put the letter A above it. The next one I'm going to plot is point B. It says go right 3, that's my x value, and then go up 4. So I'm going to count along my x, 1, 2, 3, 4 along the x-axis. Whoops, it's supposed to be 3. 1, 2, 3 along the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4 up on the y-axis, plot a dot, and then the letter B so you can find that point again. Don't just plot the dot, make sure you also plot the letter, okay? So I'm going to have you try plotting E, let's see, and F. Go ahead and try E on your own. I want you to pause the video, and then once you have it graphed, I want you to turn the video back on to see how you did. Remember, plot with a dot and then label it with the letter E. So you should have gone to the right 4 and down -5. You should be in the 4th quadrant because our x value is positive, to the right is 0, and our y value is negative, down below 0, 5. So it should be right here. Check yours. If you didn't get it correct, fix it, study it again, and then I want you to try plotting F. Pause the video, turn it back on to see how you did. So F should be also in the 4th quadrant, and it should be right 3, down 2, and that's where F should be, +3, -2. If you got it correct, good job. If you didn't, fix it, and then we're going to go on to the next piece. We're going to come up to I and J. I would like you to plot -5, 4. We are now in this 2nd quadrant, so that's a hint. It should be somewhere in this quadrant right here because we're going negative direction first, followed by up for the +4. So go ahead and try it out. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're done to see how you did. Okay, check yourself. You should have gone left 5 and up 4 units. So you should be right here in that second quadrant. Left 5 and up 4. Check yourself. Fix it if you missed it. You got it right. You're ready for the next one. You're plotting J, -7, +8. Pause the video and then turn it back on to see if you got it right. All right, you should be way up here in that second quadrant. Left 7 and up 8. Okay, and now we're coming down here for M and N. Plot M and then plot N and check them both. When you're done, pause the video right now and then come back. M should have been pretty good because they're both the same. So if you did it backwards, you wouldn't really know. But that is -4, -4 right here. And then N, you should have gone left 6 and down 5. Hopefully you got that figured out and you're ready to move on. If not, rewind the video, do a little bit more watching, and just make sure you are careful not to mix up your X and Y's. X is always left to right, Y is always up and down. So hopefully you got the hang of how to graph points like we just did. And now we are going to read points from a coordinate plane. I'm just going to clear the screen and we're going to do some more problems on your same sheet here. Okay, we're going to come back over and we're going to look at C. And I'm going to just start off by putting my parentheses and my commas in on these because I know I need that notation to get it correct. If I don't have that notation, I'm not naming ordered pairs, I'm just listing some numbers. So C, we want to know what the ordered pair is. How do we get to C? Remember, the first number is X, it's left to right. How far did we go to the right of 0 to get to C? Well, we went 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is my X value. How far did we need to go up to get to C? 1, 2. So this is the ordered pair 6, 2. Not 2, 6. 6, 2. Left to right, followed by up and down. So we'll do one more together to find the ordered pair for D. How did we go left to right? We went right 1, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 5. So it's 1, 5. So let's come down to G. G is right here. I want you to pause the video. I want you to write down the ordered pair and then check yourself to see if you got it. So you should have started at 0 and gone right 2 and down 1. So we're down 1 on the Y and we're right 2, and that's where that meets. That's point G. Make sure you have the parentheses and the comma if you didn't put them in, because you're not going to get credit if you're leaving those symbols off. Remember, mathematical notation for ordered pairs requires those symbols. Tell me the ordered pair for H. What is the X value? What is the Y value? To get to point H, how far do we have to go to the right? And then how far do we have to go down? Hopefully you paused the video and you realized it was 5, -4. So in this fourth quadrant, all these points had a positive X value and a negative Y value. In the first quadrant, they always have a positive X value and a positive Y value. Now we're going to come back up here, and I would like you to do K and L. And you can pause the video and check them as you go. And if you have any mistakes, fix them and figure out what you're doing wrong and learn from those errors. So for K, you went left 1 and up 2. For L, left 3 and up 1. Are you remembering your parentheses and your commas? If you're not, you need to put them in and make a note because you want to make sure you are using that proper notation. Okay, 2 more to do and then we're done with this sheet. You need to find the ordered pair for O and then find the ordered pair for P. Use proper mathematical notation and then check yourself, see how it went. Pause the video and come back. So for O, you should have gone left 1, -1, and then down 3, -3. For P, you should have gone left 2, and then down 1. All right, so that is a coordinate plane. The parts of a coordinate plane, X and Y axis, just relabel those for you. This is the Y, vertical, X horizontal, the origin where they meet in the middle, and the 4 quadrants, which help you to understand where points should fall based on their signs, positives or negatives. And that is the coordinate plane.